Hello, happy New Year, everyone. And yeah, I've got Emma with me today, and we're gonna be talking about New Year's resolutions and do they work? Excuse me. All about New Year's resolutions today. And we've got my mate Emma Farrell with me today, and yeah, let's go on the TLA. Um, Brilliant. That's it. I think we're all set. Let's go then. Yes, Emma's joined.
Hi,
Hi, hi.
how's it
How are
going?
you? Long time.
I know, right? It's typical of the pandemic session. Now, the first time we'll meet up after a long time is online.
Yeah, absolutely. It's something scary, like about 15 years, is it?
I know, yeah, I know. Yeah, we're ancient now. We're no longer
Nah,
kids.
we're only as young as we feel, and we'll be older again tomorrow, so it's
This is
fine. We're
it.
still young.
This is it. How have you been anyway? How are you? Happy New Year.
Oh yeah, Happy New Year to you too. Good. I've been good. Just tipping along, Ty,
Yeah.
like the rest of us, just getting through it.
Mhm. Absolutely. Look, Emma, thanks a lot for coming along. And look, as soon as like obviously we've tried to keep in touch through the digital world anyway. But as soon as I saw what you were doing right now, I was really impressed by it, and I was like, it's one of those things. I mean, I think self-development is something I mean, something that we should all do, but it's something that's been a key part of my life in the last kind of like 2 years, especially as you said earlier
Mm.
on, we've grown up so I mean, as a
At
natural
last.
process, as I know, the natural process, as natural part of that is obviously discovering yourself, discovering your new self, and stuff like that. And
Mm.
before I go into the actual particular topic we wanted to talk to about today, I just wanted to like kind of go get into the context of why did you go into like I mean health and wellness coaching, and what do you do? So what's like tell us, introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about what you do.
Okay. So haven't changed a bit, Ty.
I know,
Uh,
I know. I was
so
trying to think what am I gonna guess here, because I'm gonna get a
the
more
same, the
mature
exact
introspection, but no,
same,
it's the same
God's
now.
sake.
It's great. It's great.
Um, no, but so my name's Emma Farrell,
Yeah.
and I am founder of Habit Change Coaching. So I'm a health and wellness and life coach, and I help people with mindset shifts. It's mainly at the moment with weight loss and kind of energy and stuff, because that's mostly what people are concerned about. But it's different to other kind of, if we're going to take weight loss programs, because I don't just tell you what you should do. We kind of delve into why you're doing what you're doing at the moment, and it's kind of dismantling old destructive habits and putting in place habits that serve us well, because our whole lives are dictated by our habits. It's the quality of our life, is the quality of our habits. So yeah, that's pretty much it. So I offer kind of two programs at the moment. I have a 21-day total reset cleanse, one actually starting on Monday, if anyone's interested,
Brilliant.
because they say it takes 21 days to form a habit. So it's an elimination diet, but it's really it's more than the elimination of food groups. It's a hypoallergenic elimination diet, and it's more about self discovery, and it's a challenge more than anything else. Like if you were to go to a nutritionist, they'd insist that you did elimination for a lot longer than what I would do. But mine is more about challenging yourself and learning about your body, and yeah, just putting yourself in a state of discipline for about 21 days. And it's all about self-care as well. Then I have a 90-day program, because it takes 21 days to form a habit and 90 days to form a lifestyle. So with a 90-day habit, you'd have me as your personal coach, and we would go through your goals and what it is you'd like to achieve with your health and your it's just any of your personal goals. And I would help you, as I said, identify and dismantle destructive habits and then instill healthy ones in its place. And the bottom line with it all, Ty, is to just be accepting of yourself, and to look at your slip ups, let's call them, with curiosity and not judgment, and just to be a lot kinder to ourselves. So that's kind of the ethos of what I do. So yeah, that's me. And how I got into it, to answer the second part of your question, is like yourself. I had, like everyone, I had a lot of self-work to do, and I kind of had a mirror moment, let's say, a couple of years ago, where you kind of you face yourself and you're like, whoa, how did I get here? And whoa,
Yeah.
and you're like, well, I got here because of me and my choices. And it's terrifying and empowering at the same time to realize that you are where you are because you're kind of like, oh shit, I'm not a victim. It's all because of me. And also, well, you know what? I can drag my sorry ass out of this. So I did that, and I thought, you know what? I was kind of, looking for something new to do, and I just thought, look, I'd hopefully be able to help other people with the same thing. So it's going well.
Yeah, that's brilliant. No, it's good to hear. And like, look, I had one of my friends on, one of my good friends, Marcus, a fitness trainer, is obviously more into the physical side. I know you're into the mental and the physical side. And one of the things we talked about, like, I remember even before this COVID thing started, right? It was always, there was a kind of a push and a drive towards, wellness, and especially mental health wellness, and how your physical aspects of what you eat, and as I said, the things you do, the choices you make affect your mental health, and vice versa. Because then when your mental health is compromised, then it will definitely affect the choices you make, and it's almost like a
100%.
revolving cycle, right? And obviously, COVID hit. And like, I'd say someone like yourself, if your work wasn't as important, say 2 years ago, it's more important now than ever, because number
Yes.
one, we've had this massive change in culture, massive change in the way we do things. And I was even saying to my fiance the other day, we don't go out anymore. You're just like, you're literally, you're kind of forced to kind of deal with everything you have at the moment, like everything that's going on inside of you. And obviously what you do now is more, I say, it's more important than ever, because I think I was saying to my friend at the time, I was like, look, if people don't actually need, physical wellness or mental wellness, then they definitely need it now, because there's no escaping it. We all need it. I think the government should kind of subsidize a wellness program for everyon. I mean, that's not the joke.
100%, yeah.
I think
With me.
oh yeah, exactly. Keep them in the contract. No, but on a serious note, I think we all are going to be coming out of this, period that we've never ever seen before in our lives. This is kind of stuff that, was happening in the 1930s, but we're different human beings from the average human beings in the 1930s. In the 1930s, women weren't expected to work or whatever, men did whatever job, but we have a multifaceted and really busy life, and we have to kind of, still deal with that with this pandemic. Now, to bring me into this, so 2020 was the pandemic, and then, we all kind of, stumbled across trying to figure it out, right? Now, we kind of know the pandemic is there. So we're starting a new year with the pandemic. And this is one of the reasons, because, when we're talking about what to talk about, I was like, we definitely have to talk about the new year, because this is a new year like no other, because you're starting a new year without, number one, knowing what's going to happen in the next 6 months. No one knows what's going to happen. And you're starting a new year with a lot of anxiety from last year. A lot of things that you will have planned for last year, you couldn't do, whether it's career-wise, job, life, relationships, you couldn't do it. So what's your approach to, I say like an ideal client comes to you in the new year, 2021, what's your approach into guiding them to say, Emma, I want to make the best out of this year in the context of a pandemic. How do I do that?
Okay, so what I would say is, in anything in life, we need to focus on that which we can control. And I think where the anxiety lies, especially with the likes of the pandemic, where we don't know, I think it's kind of the first time that we have, I wouldn't say no trust, but we've there is no foresight. We can't, everything is so unpredictable, and it's very strange to us, because we're so used to, our norm is routine, is get up, is the Monday to Friday, is the, your few drinks or whatever it is that you do at the weekend. And now it has just been thrown, and all of our kind of marking points of, like, we're in lockdown now, supposedly till the January 31st. I think renownedly everybody knows that this is going on for longer. So we have this massive uncertainty over everything outside of ourselves. So what I'm trying to get across to people, and myself, like I'm always learning, seriously, like,
absolutely.
is to focus on that which you can control. You know, you can't control everything that's outside of us. And I think the good lesson about this whole thing is that we've stopped trying. I think everybody's collectively kind of saying, okay, I don't have control over this anymore. The anxiety that was in the first lockdown, where we thought it was like a zombie apocalypse and everybody was like, oh, man down the hatches. And but now I think we've settled into it a little bit. Now there's still a lot of anxiety in the air. Like every news channel you turn on, it's just insane. I don't watch it anymore.
I don't watch it either.
Well, we know.
Yeah. It's like journalism.
Yeah, at least study journalism. You shouldn't watch the news. It's all crap. But I think that now people are starting to say, well, right, okay, this is it. What can I do? And what I'm getting is people kind of coming to me saying, right, okay, I'm done with kind of, this isn't a holiday anymore. This may be a new normal. What can I focus on? How, you know, what can I do? And the only thing that you have pure control over is yourself and how you go about your day. So, you know, routine, having a set bedtime. It's, you know, it's what everybody says, but it works, you know, planning your food, planning your, I won't say exercise, because exercise is very daunting to a lot of people, movement, okay? So moving about a bit more. And like we said, we're not watching the news every hour on the air. I know what I need to know, and I think that that is okay for everybody right now, especially if you suffer from a bit of anxiety. Just know what you need to. If you have to wear a mask and go into a shop, that's all you need to know. You don't need to know stuff that's happening really outside of your life at the moment, because it invades your headspace. And the fact that we pick up our phones while we're still in bed and we invite this negativity into your bed, you know, it's insane. Like that's how connected we are, which is really good. But on the bad side, like I found myself tired at the height of the anxiety. I was like following other people's arguments at 2 o'clock in the morning. I don't even know these people. Like I shouldn't be reading these comments. I should be relaxing. You know, so that's an example of letting the outside in. So I think that a lesson that we could all learn is you are only in control of you and how you respond to something, or how you choose to act with it. So that's what I would be saying. Focus on you and everything else will change.
Yeah. I'm going to talk on the points that the topic I wanted to discuss today. Boss, you made a great point about technology there. Now, right, Grant, like me, I know we're joking earlier on. We're not like, what, I'm not in my mid-30s. Yeah, I'm not anyway. I think you're only, you're same age of me or younger or something like that. We would say anyway.
We'll say
But, I remember, like, we were in college a few, like 10 years or whatever ago, and I think we were just in college when, like 6 years ago. I remember we were just in college when Facebook came out. I remember Bebo was big when we were in college. I remember Bebo was massive. And then Facebook I remember we first had our Facebook pages, and I think it was you, maybe a few of the other folks in our class that was on my Facebook page. It's very new. We didn't even know what it was. But now, like, I mean, I remember even in college, we used to, like, you know, after class, you know, especially we hung out a lot. We would just hang out in the garden, in the green, would chill. We had a mobile phone, but it wasn't part of our life. We didn't even, I don't think we had Bebo on our mobile phone. I think we didn't have any, we had no apps. Yeah, we were just a mobile, it was a basic mobile phone. I would just hang out, we'd chill, we'd go for drinks, we'd drink some cans in the garden, we'd go to college, and it was it. You fast forward, and this is not a long time ago when you think about it, really. It's not like a lifetime, it's not like centuries ago, like it's you know, and you have this like this new age where it's just so much information, social media, and then you have Instagram, which is all crazy. And look, I like Instagram as much as anybody else, but the concept of Instagram, could you imagine in college where you have to, like, you go in and you're competing against people in your class, or you have to look good in college, whatever. We didn't really care, really. We just rocked it, whatever. But now you have all these societal standards that are just in your face. Like, back in the days, you probably just have to, for you to actually chase the societal standards, you have to be really vogue or cosmopolitan. For a woman or a guy, you have to be GQ or Men's Health or whatever. And maybe you do, and we do see these things, but they're not in our face 24/7. And you know, Brad Pitt is Brad Pitt, and you're not really competing with Brad Pitt, or wherever it's Tyrese or whatever. But when it's the young girl around your area, or when it's the guy beside you, and when it's the guy that you know, and he's on Instagram, and he's in Maui, and he's got a six-pack, or the girl you know, and she's in Dubai, and she's got whatever. How do you think that's changed our life so much? And what do you think, what's the core part of your coaching that helps deal with that part? Because you mentioned that, I think it's a fascinating thing that you brought up, especially the mobile phone in the bedroom. Look, I'm horrible for it, and I think I'm doing it.
Oh, see,
I do the name of
I preach, I
research.
don't
I
practice.
know, I
I'll
know.
check emails, I'll check my Instagram. I
Horrible.
will do the things that I know I shouldn't do. So, like, hands up, Ty, I come here as one of you. You know, like, I'm no saint and I never claim to be. I do
Yeah.
these things. I know I shouldn't, and I know we all know we shouldn't, but we do. How do I think it's effective? Well, I think that all we need to do is look at the correlation of mental health issues alongside smartphones and apps and everything, and the way younger generations now are becoming a lot more anxious, a lot more, and it's very, very sad that they're all connected. Like, I was in McDonald's way back when you could actually walk into a fast food place, and I remember seeing a group of I don't know if they were preteens or young teens. And as you said, when we were in college, you'd be lying around, you'd be chatting, you'd be interacting socially. They were sitting in a group, and it's an awkward age, but it's a necessary awkwardness. You need to get through that awkwardness. But they were all sitting on their phones. Now, they were likely texting one another, but it's being able to lose yourself, or like you sit on a bus in the morning, and everybody just looks into their phone. Very, very few people are looking out the window at the world passing them by, or sitting with their thoughts. And one of the things I always say to my clients is, in a situation where you would usually grab your phone, be it in a queue, on a bus, commuting, or anything like that, use that time for breath work or mindfulness. Now, it takes practice, but use that time to just be with yourself. So now, like, you know, there's queues into everything. You can't even get your groceries without a queue. Instead of fighting against it, just accept, I'm going to be standing here for 15 minutes. But instead of flicking mindlessly through a scroll of, at the moment, what is everybody else's arguments, because we're at this war with what's right and what's wrong. Instead of doing that, maybe just people watch, be conscious of your breath, and just stand and be. We're so wrapped up in doing at the moment that we forget to be. And we're human beings, we are not human doings. It's okay to just sit alone and be, or sit in a park, and instead of whipping out your phone, just sit there and watch people, notice the trees. I know it sounds real hippy dippy, but it's where we need to be. It really is, especially now when we've got all this we're working from home, we've got the news blasting in, and you're stuck in the four walls. It's very, very important to just sit and be, and especially if you can get outside to some greenery, or, you know, and do it there.
No, absolutely. No, I think I completely agree with you. And as I said, look, we're all the same. And I think it's so fascinating because we didn't grow up in that culture. So we didn't have any excuse. Like, and were, like, I even, like, when you think about it, like, say if I saw you were in college, right? We had a class, and I saw you at 5 p.m. I don't get to see you till the next day. Like, that's it. I probably don't communicate to you on the next, unless something. I don't text her. I would never text him like, oh, Emma, what happened in the lecture today? We won't text. If I want to say something to you, I'll be like, looking forward to see you at 8 o'clock in the morning. Then we can discuss. And that is gone now, because people just have that instant thing, like, it's like, oh, I can just send them this and send them notes. I remember we had Moodle or something like that, and that was as much as we had. Remember Moodle, right? And that was as techy as we could get things, you know. And that was it, like, you know. And even with the Moodle, we have to wait sometimes, you know, days before the notes get uploaded and stuff, right? I'll park that for a second, because I think we're still going to touch onto it in a question. But one of the main things I brought you on, and the main topic I wanted to talk about was, like, well, obviously we talk about the like part of self-discovery, and to kind of discover yourself, you have to start afresh, right? And New Year's always presents a time to start afresh, right? And, you know, I don't know where it came from, but the New Year resolution is a thing. And look, I read a lot of people, and there's some people that just hate the idea of New Year's, because technically calendars are just like, they're social construct. I mean, it's a constructed kind of thing. There's nothing, calendars don't, there's nothing like a calendar. Like, you know, it's just like the night, the moon, and the whatever, the sun, you know, 24 hours rotation, that's fine. But like days, the way they walk, 30 days, all that, that's nonsense. I actually remember there was a time like a Dutch guy.
Damn hippies, hey?
I know, yeah. There's a Dutch guy, and I know there's a good friend of mine, and he told me, like, I remember, like, he was saying, like, I think in 20 years time, Ireland are going to reset that time. You know the way our time goes forward and backwards? It's like Ireland are going to change it, that it doesn't go forward again when the rest of Europe goes backwards.
Next year they're doing that.
I think it's next year, actually, when you think about it. I think so.
Yeah.
And I was like, can they do that? He was like, yeah, of course they can do it. I was like, the whole time thing is a construct. They just decided that one day.
There is no time.
There's no time.
There is time.
It's like, oh, they just decided one day just to make it I don't know exactly why. I think it was obviously it has to do with like I know. I think it has to do with labor. I think it has to do with like
Yeah.
obviously the sun goes up and it's just to extend the time for people to work, especially back in the days when they didn't sunlight that much. And that got me thinking that if time is not really, it's just manufactured, it's like a social construct and calendars and days and months and years. They're just at the end of the day, they're just things that are constructed. They're just constructed to give us a framework of a kind of a structure to our lives. So New Year's obviously is just another day. New Year's is just another day, And New Year resolutions or New Year's shouldn't be the time where you be like bling 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 champagne glass. I love champagne, by the way. So no,
Oh, of course you do. You always do.
Still
You
the
love the
same.
finer things.
So obviously you crack open the champagne bottle on the New Year's Eve and everybody's together. Then first and second day of the year, it starts all over again. Like, I mean, obviously, most people make New Year's resolutions, what you want to achieve for the year. But again, going back to my point about everything being constructed and nothing really is real, everything is and you always like, you made a few points about, being in charge of what you can control. And like things like time is something that you can control if you don't work on the time that is set up, as a kind of a general consensus of what the concept of time or months or years should be. So, I mean, what's your opinion about New Year's resolution? Or do you agree with me in terms of like the time and, days and months and years? It's a social construct, really.
Okay, I'll answer that. The hippie within doesn't agree with any of that, okay? But the practical me realizes that it's useful, that time, we need it. It's a societal thing, but hey, we live in society, so we gotta work with it. So that's my answer to that. New Year's resolutions. Look, how many? Just a question to you personally, Ty. How many New Year's resolutions have you made and stuck with?
I don't think I've ever stuck with a New Year's resolution before my life.
Yeah.
I actually don't think I have ever.
Statistically, only 2% of people will stick to a New Year's resolution. And the reason being, we make the same ones year on year, right? And 2 weeks in, we're gone. And what happens with it is, okay, so just to try and explain this, see, we make a New Year's resolution kind of based on a part of ourselves that we dislike, okay? So say, for instance, you have gotten into the habit, because our lives are based on habits, of staying up late, binge watching Netflix, which so many of us are doing during this pandemic, because why the hell not? You're binge watching Netflix, it's 2, 3, 4 in the morning, you're sleeping until 11 o'clock, you're skipping breakfast, you're slugging around, and it's starting to affect up here, because that's what happens, right? So you say, right, January, which is the ultimate Monday, let's face it, and I don't think you...
Sorry, I think I lost you there. No, it's good.
Anything on Monday. Yeah, don't start out on a Monday. Tuesday or Wednesday is fine. Just pick a date. Don't say Monday, because you're coming off the back of Sunday, okay? So don't start anything off the back of a holiday, okay? So, because you're setting yourself up for massive climb. So we do this, and we might indulge in the bad habits then through December. I'll just have an extra tin of rolls. For January's next week, and I'm up at 6 a.m. running 5K, and we indulge ourselves further into the bad habits to only hit the ultimate Monday with all of these grandiose plans off the back of a blowout, okay? So we're already setting ourselves up for a massive climb and, a failure, really. So we may do it. You may get up at 6 o'clock in the morning. You may do 5K. 7 to 10 days in, you go, I can't do this anymore. And you crack and you break. And what do? You reinforce what you were already telling yourself about yourself when you made the plans. I'm lazy. I've lost the run of myself. I'm this, I'm that, You make the New Year's resolution. It's too big. You can't follow through with it because, and then you reinforce yourself. So just to explain what habits are. So habits are automated rituals that we have to simplify life. So you wake up in the morning, you don't go, will I brush my teeth today? You just go in and you brush them, and it's automated. You don't even think about it. And you may, if you're familiar with, like, obviously big execs like say Mark Zuckerberg or the late Steve Jobs, they would wear the same clothes. Well, not the same clothes, but the the same
Style.
looking outfit
Yeah.
every day to negate that decision, because you've only a certain amount of decisions that you can make in a day, interestingly enough.
Yeah.
So whatever, so you create habits or rituals so that you leave decision making for bigger things like what to have for dinner, or some creative pursuits. So that's what habits are about. But when you're making New Year's resolutions and stuff, your habits, if you practice them enough, become behaviors. Okay. And behaviors are actually ingrained in your psyche, and they're like wired into your brain, and they're a lot harder to break. You can't just command that they stop. Like, okay, so for instance, like you can definitely just stop watching that extra episode on Netflix till 2 in the morning. You can definitely stop that. That's a habit. But the sleep patterns and the eating patterns that you've picked up because of that aren't as easy to break. So we set ourselves up for too high of a task. Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
With
Yeah.
these New Year's resolutions, and then we fail, and then we beat ourselves up about it, and we reinforce that I am fat, I am a failure, I'm not that kind of person, and then you believe that, and because you feel like oh well, sure, you may as well just eat the tin of roses then, because that's who you are. So that's you're identifying as that person then. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. Yeah, no, it does. It does. And look, I found it myself, like, my New Year's resolution thing, like I wanted to stop drinking as much, and that was always my battle over the last 3 years or something. I'm like, okay, next year I'm not gonna drink as much. And it's exactly what you said. In December, look, we're Irish, we live in Ireland, and December is just,
And we're in lockdown.
yeah,
Well,
I went lockdown. Look, lockdown hasn't even been bad. I'm talking about 3 years ago when I was really bad, And then January will come and I'll be like, I'm quitting drinking. And in December, I'm drinking literally every day. Like, you go up to like, the 12 pubs and you do all these things. And then New Year's Eve, like, yeah, I'm going to have a drink and blow out, go on New Year's. And then January 1st comes in and I'm like, I'm not drinking on January 1st. It's always a lie. And I think that's one of those key things. I think drinking and, eating habits are one of those difficult things, especially because in January, because you're going to be indulging in those things so much in December. So it's almost like if you want to quit drinking in January, you should stop quitting drinking from October or something, because once December hit, if you're still drinking, it's not going to
Well,
work.
look, what I've been saying to clients of mine who want to go back, I'm like, that's fine. If you are, and a lot of my clients, myself included,
Yeah.
have been tippling away now, having a glass here or there, because you're working from home, you have kids at home, you're just like, because you can't, it's all work and no play at the moment. So of course, and I say to people, stop beating yourself up. Okay, like if you're tipping away a bottle of vodka every day, maybe you need to like address that. But if it's a glass or two of wine at night, just consciously be mindful of it. We need to be kinder to ourselves, particularly now, okay? Like, treat yourself, have patience with yourself. If you are drinking a bottle of wine or whatever your poison is 4 or 5 nights a week, say to yourself in January, I'm going to do 3 nights a week. That's for a week. And then the next week, do it for 2 nights a week. That's perfect. That is more progress than you were the last time.
Yeah.
But what I like to I kind of have this thing this year, it's to ditch the New Year's resolution and instead to instill a mantra. Okay?
Mm.
And so you're familiar with what a mantra is.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
It's repeating a phrase or a word multiple times in order to create a certain level of consciousness. Okay, now I don't mean you're going to be like,
oh,
but, yeah, no, like, come here. I go on about it like I'm not, like, but no, but it is. It's a mantra, and we actually all subconsciously work with mantras anyway, but they're usually negative. So whatever your script is, I hate my body. I can't do this. I failed, therefore I'm a failure. I'm not good enough. And they're 9 times out of 10 they're negative. That in itself, Ty, is a mantra. That's a mantra. And our minds are a very complex yet a very simple machine. It will believe what you tell it enough times. And your subconscious cannot differentiate between fact or fiction. So if you have, for instance, body dysmorphia and you've like lovely slim physique, but you keep telling yourself, I'm fat, I'm fat, I'm fat, you will see yourself through fat eyes, because your eyes they don't have free will. They are a lens to your mind. Okay, it's a little bit like red car syndrome. When I want a red car, and then you see red cars everywhere.
Yeah.
That's it. So if you are telling yourself, I am not good enough, you will see everything from how you can't do this. So a mantra, a nice mantra to have, is to always be conscious of your I ams. And you don't have to be like, I am the greatest, although that's a fantastic one. It can be, I am going to be kind to myself today. I am going to do my best to not have a drink today, or I am going to choose to not have a drink until Thursday, or whatever it is that you do. And the difference between like a New Year's resolution is usually I will get up and go to the gym 5 days a week. You're throwing it into the future. Whereas with a mantra, it's in the now. Do you get me? So you're in the present. I am going to do my best to go to the gym 3 times a week. I am that person. Another great tip as well. It was actually a client of mine who told me this only the other night, and I was like, "Wow, I'm stealing that." He said, "To decide who you're going to be for the next hour." Okay, so if it's a good one, isn't it? So if you're going to say that you're going to, start jogging, do couch to 5K, I don't know, 20 minutes a day. For the next 20 minutes, I'm a jogger, and it makes it so much easier than being like, oh, I'm going to be a marathon runner in a few months. Sure, that's so far out of your reach. It's really easy to dive out of it for the day. Whereas if you say, I'm going to be a jogger. I am a jogger for the next 20 minutes. Or I am that woman who does ironing for the next 2 hours. Whatever it may be, you use your I ams and you be that person in this moment, and you will succeed so much better than I will do this, I will do that, I will do the other. Does that make sense?
No, absolutely does. And I've taken some tips from this because like one of the things I'm trying to instill in myself is like patterns. And I'm talking about even like, for example, as like when we left college, obviously with the way media changed, I didn't write for ages. I wasn't writing out. I wasn't writing for ages. I just stopped writing. I just didn't care. And eventually I kind of picked it up. Like I work in marketing now, but I'm not a journalist anymore. No, we didn't like. It's so funny because we grew up. I know, yeah. I don't think many of us are like I think maybe one or two of us are actually journalists, and like as in like actively working as journalists. Everybody works in PR or marketing or whatever, which is great. But I remember like maybe like 2 years ago, and I started writing again. My confidence was shattered because I was just, like there was a day I actually looked at myself, I was like, how did I even graduate college? I'm so terrible at writing. And I remember I was quite decent at writing. Not like I was great, but no, I could write. We had to write 3,000 and 5,000 words stuff, and I couldn't write. And I remember I started building this pattern of like just writing small notes every morning. Like it started with like 10 10 maybe word 10 sentences or like 20 sentences, and I started building these things. And again, it went back to what you just said. I started kind of talking to something. I am a good writer. Why can't and it just builds that self-confidence in me just writing. And I think I'm gonna definitely take a tip of like I'm gonna be like I am thinking, and I don't know what's your name, even bowling for like for 20 minutes or something like that, right?
Yeah, 100. But honestly,
but I think it's really good.
Private.
I think
And it's private, and we have to realize that we are not under the headlights all the time. Do it privately. Sit it tight. You know what? I'm glad you said that because I was the same. I love to write. I love writing, but I didn't. I had this block, and I think that everybody has to find their outlet, your creative outlet. And not everybody is a natural creative person, but if your creative outlet is being the neatest person who can line up, someone would describe, I'm not creative. Well, you're damn good at organizing. That's creative. Whatever it is that makes you feel alive, do it, and do it privately, and say, I am a writer for the next 20 minutes or the next hour. Or what it's a great thing is to something that you have a mental block with like that, like make a dedicate 5 minutes a day. Say, I'm going to write for 5 minutes every day. 9 times out of 10 you'll do it for an hour. Some days you will only do 5 minutes, and that's fine because you've only promised yourself 5 minutes. So you've achieved that anyway. But 9 times out of 10 you'll go longer. But 5 minutes doesn't seem so daunting. Whereas if you have to sit down and say, oh, I have to write that article, I have to put that press release together or something, it's really daunting. No, I'm going to do 5 minutes of it today, and you'll do it. You'll finish it. But I do have a set of 12 tips for goals, if you'd like to hear.
Please do. Yeah, please.
So I think what we do as well is that we make things too big for ourselves. And remember that even if you're climbing Everest, it's one step at a time, okay? So I'll read out my little tips here. I'll send them to you
Definitely.
as well if you want.
Absolutely. Please do. And I'll
I
share with
will.
my audience later. Yeah.
So the first, and I think is the most important, especially now with the situation that we're in, is to be patient with yourself and to treat yourself kindly always. And that's just like Rome was not built in a day. Always know, and a mantra, I think a mantra to anyone who's stuck is to say, I am in progress. I am a work in progress. We are all a work in progress. So be patient with yourself and treat yourself kindly always. Break down your goals into small, manageable chunks. So if you want to be healthier or lose weight through January, but you've gone on an ulti McNulty of a set for December, just know that you've done that and you're sleeping until 11 o'clock every day. Don't try and get up at 6 a.m. Get up at 10:30. Set yourself a you need to set yourself up for inevitable success. You can get up a half an hour earlier every morning. You can opt to drink a glass of water before your morning coffee, and you can add a piece of fruit and vegetables to your daily meals. That's enough for week 1. And once you've achieved that, you'll go, yeah. And then week 2, you get up an hour earlier. You may add a 20-minute run to that. But you review it on a weekly basis and you build upon it, because the sense of achievement will give you confidence. And then it's a work in progress. The third one I would say is, as I said, set yourself up for inevitable success. So leave nothing to chance except your decision. If you want to go running in the morning, leave your stuff out, leave your water out, leave everything where it should be. If you want to have a nice healthy breakfast, have it prepared, have your shop done. Don't leave anything up to chance. Okay, so that's preparing for inevitable success. Remember that small hinges swing big doors. Okay, so small changes are changes anyway. Trying to have, as I said, these grandiose plans, and I'm going to do this, and I'm going to do that, and I'm going to do that. 9 times out of 10, we're setting ourselves up for failure. And remember that it was the tortoise who won the race after all, and he was slow and he was steady, and change is lasting when it's slow and steady. As I said, this point, decide who you are going to be for the next hour. I am a jogger, I am a writer, I am a weightlifter. Whatever it is, you've got an hour. I am the best father in the world. I am the best clothes folder that's ever been. Whatever it is that you are, that's who you are for the next hour. Because when we can manage things in our head in a time chunk, it's easier than looking at the task ahead. This is going to take me 20 minutes or something,
Yeah.
Use your I ams positively. Okay, so instead of I am fat, it's like I am in the process of losing weight and I love my body. I am perfect as I am, but I am working towards a better version of me. Okay, be aware of your negative self-talk. And just a word on that, I think for every negative thought that you have, you need 5 positive ones to wipe it out. Mad. So a stitch in time saves 9. Don't just it takes practice. It really, really does. But it's being mindful and aware. Okay, this is a great one. View your slip-ups from a place of curiosity and not judgment. So if you've decided that you're not having a drink during the week, I am not doing it, I will have a drink at the weekend, and you slip up and you have a drink on Wednesday, the old you would say, oh, you're useless, you're just a booze hound, and you're hopeless and you're unhealthy lifestyle. No, instead go, hang on, okay, you had a drink. Why'd you do that? You had a really stressful day in work. Everything was on your back. This and that and the other didn't go right. You weren't sleeping well. Okay, you had a drink. This is why it happened. I'm looking at it with curiosity. Tomorrow is a new day. We're speaking kindly to ourselves, and I am going to do better tomorrow. And there's no need for postmortems. They don't work. There's no need in going back over and being like, you did this and that, like beating on yourself. So curiosity and not judgment. And when you're setting goals, take a while to figure out the why beneath the why. So if your why is, I want to get healthier to lose weight, why do you want to do that? Oh, because I'm just not feeling very confident. Okay, and why would you need to feel more confident? Oh, because I'm not actually putting myself forward in work, and I feel like I'm slipping. And find out the real reason. And once you find out the real reason that you want to do things, get yourself an anchor. Okay, and an anchor could be a song. I actually have a necklace, And what that will do is your why beneath your why. Like, I really want to do this because I want to excel at work. This I want to lose weight and feel confident. Anytime you go to just have a little piece of pizza, you touch your anchor, and it reminds you why you're doing this.
Wow.
And it's all these really small little psychological things. They really work in tandem. And my last would be, remember 80-20 always. 80% change, 20% human. Give yourself a fucking break. Okay? We're human. We're gonna slip up. It's what we are. As I said, look at it. Oh yeah, that happened. Move on and do better tomorrow.
Brilliant. No, I love it. Like, I had to take some of them down. And I think, again, this is why I think what you do is so important, because I think sometimes you trying to instigate change is kind of daunting, because you're just like, there's so many things. Even I'm looking at myself, like, there's so much stuff I want to change about myself, but then it's so much then, which means I don't change anything, because I'm looking at it like, if I can't change it all, I can't change it at all. You know, that kind of way.
Yeah.
Because rather than me looking at, okay, today I'm gonna be a better writer. Rather than me like looking at that, I'm like, I want to be a better writer, quit drinking, be a better partner, be this and be that. And it's like, what if I become a better writer and that makes me happier? And because I'm done with that, I can become a better partner. And I think a lot of those kind of things, and I love the way you put them in place, and things, little tiny things like, you know, having the anchor, like, I think is brilliant. Like, I think small things like that are very practical things that you can apply into your day to day. That also kind of gamifies what you're doing as well. So it's not as boring as, I just want to change. But when you know you want to change, and you put all the small things in place, it's just like you're picking it up as you're going along, and you just go to the next steps. It's almost like a game. So you go to the next level. It's like remember back in this, when I used to play Mario, right? You know, and when you play Super Mario, like, you do know that, you know, there's a big boss in the head, right? But you don't go in from level 1 and be like, I want to go to the big boss in the head. One of the best part, what makes Mario so interesting is the fact that you can play level 1, and you finish level 1, and you go to level 2. You finish level 2, you go to level 3, and you just progress it along. And I think
I'm robbing this tie. That's a bloody brilliant way of describing it, but it's
no,
so true.
yeah.
And we all try and go from level 1 to master, whatever it is you
I would
said
never
there.
do that, yeah.
Yeah, we do. And you wouldn't encourage a child to do that. You wouldn't say, right, now you're into junior infants, I want to see you as a solicitor by the end of the week. Like, it just doesn't work like that, you know? And it shouldn't with us either. So small hinges swing big doors. Even Everest is climbed with one foot in front of the other. And I think if someone is looking for a mantra to carry with them, I think through this pandemic, what's got me through the pandemic is one foot in front of the other, Emma. One foot in front of the other. And your failures, they're not a measure of who you are. They're tests. They're learning curves. And it can be so easy to cave underneath something that doesn't go your way. But if we strive for perfection, we'll always fail. Because we are imperfectly perfect, which is what makes us human and which makes us perfect. And it's all about accepting that and just being kind about things, you know?
Yeah, exactly. And like, again, one of the things I've actually always realized, like I realized recently rather, is I was thinking about is like, you know, all the success that I want so quickly and all these things that I want. What if I get them tomorrow? Then what?
You're not
that's
ready.
just changed my perspective. That changed the perspective of things. It's like, what if I become the most successful person tomorrow? Then what? Then what's my life then? What am I striving for then? And there's a reason why things are taking so much time, because there's so much beauty in the journey of us getting to that destination, as opposed to us just getting there now. Because you see it in so many lives, so many people, you know, we talk about child stars, and I was just thinking about the concept of child stars and why child stars really feel as adults, and they can't do that transition. Because if you're at the age of 10, if you wanted to be an actor, at the age of 10, you've already won all the Oscars and the Grammys. It's so hard to, where'd you go from there? Like, where do you go from there? And I think the beauty of it is like when you see yourself grow and gradually go on, and look, as I said, I'm trying to gradually understand that there's a beauty in the process of things. And it's one of the things I picked up from you is like, I can go in tomorrow and I'm like, you know what, I'm going to try and run 2K tomorrow and see how I get on. Because by the time I reach 20K, then I will love the fact, I will enjoy the days I was 2K, I was 3K, I was 4K. That's more enjoyable than me trying to do 20K and failing and then be like, oh, I'm not doing this anymore, you know?
Yeah, and it's about like that saying, how we get it right. It's like life. It's not about trying to dodge the storm, but learning to dance in the rain. And life is a process, and I think this comes back to the whole thing we were talking about with social media and phones. Everything's so instant now. We never there's so much pressure for, like, everywhere you look, you know, there's this pressure to be this person, that person. Oh my God, she's doing this and she's doing this and she's doing it. It's like, no, don't judge your chapter 1 on someone else's chapter 17,
Yeah.
or your chapter 17 on their chapter 17, because it's a different fucking book. You know, there's no comparison. You are exactly where you need to be right now, because, and you know, when something that you try to do doesn't go your way, it's because you needed to learn something else. You're not ready for that. And once we expect life, once we stop expecting life to be fair, it becomes a lot easier. You know, it's not fair and things mess up, but if we take everything as a lesson, it just becomes a lot easier, you know.
Brilliant. Like this last bit, like this thing, I usually keep it to an hour, so I will, like, I'll let you go like half.
Sure.
But the last thing I want to get from you, you mentioned technology there, and I'm bad at technology. Do you have any tips for people, you know, like me, that try to kind of move away from being just so obsessed with technology and so obsessed with information? And look, the thing about I'm obsessed with information, and I'm a curious person anyway. But to be honest with you, like 80% is like, it's like you said, the 80-20%, 80-20 rule. My 80-20% is 80% of the time is rubbish I'm looking at the internet. 20% of the time is good information. How do you manage that, especially in the time that we definitely know it raises anxiety? We definitely know, you know, and to be honest, in my own case, I don't really compare myself to people on the internet, but I get caught up in that rabbit hole, especially with this culture war and, you know, this kind of ideological war. You get caught up in that nonsense.
Yeah,
It's just and then you come out of that, you're just drained, and like, it's just like, because you're hearing too much comments and opinions of people. And one of the things that fascinated me is like, and look, I'm all for, like, you know, there's so many bad things out there on the internet that, you know, you want to purge. But the problem about that is, as well, is like, as big as the social media, like, say, a platform or a comment section is, right? There can't be more than let's say there are 20,000 comments in that section, right? Which is never really the case. That's not 20,000 people you're going to interact with ever in the world. But that's 20,000 people in the world, 20,000 comments. It seems to, like, really affect the way we look at things, the way we interact with each other, we form opinions based on that. And, you know, it's hard. And I'm not saying that that's because I'm literally the person there, like, you know, I'm doing better in trying to get away from everything like that. And because I'm really political, and I know you're political as well. It's very political. Social media is just the worst, because it's almost as bad. I say, you know, I always slag, like, you know, kind of the, you know, the kind of image-based social media, but the political social media just got even worse. It's just as bad, because it's just this war of ideology. And because in my own case, I know politics really controls my life, so I start, like, internalizing a lot of stuff that it's not really none of my business. Like, I'm there looking at America's whatever bollocks is going on in America. And I'm like, I don't care about what's going on in America, because all I care about is, again, as you talk about your change of your life, all I need to care about is when I wake up tomorrow morning, am I going to figure out what's going on in Dublin, in my work, in my relationship, my career? But I'm spending hours thinking about what's going on in America, the impeachment or whatever. Like, how do you manage that yourself, and what advice do you give to people in this kind of technology bubble that we live in? It's just like it's a distraction and everything, you know?
I'll be honest.
Yeah.
Managing it myself, I'm not really at the moment. I honestly, hands up, I'm getting caught up, because like that, I'm very into current affairs. I follow politics around the world and stuff. But there comes a point where you have to actually realize it's 2 a.m. and I'm reading complete strangers arguments. Like, what is this doing to my head? So I'm not doing great with that at the moment, truth be told. But I think we're all getting kind of sucked into our phones at the moment. But what to do? It's like anything. Disconnect. Have a time for your phone. You know, so consciously. Like, I've a 4-year-old daughter, and I have to be conscious, because I didn't grow up with my mom, you know, looking at news reports on her phone. It must be weird to see that. So I'm very conscious that I don't check my phone in bed. I may have a little sneaky check on the way down the stairs. It's put away for breakfast time. And I'm trying, right, to schedule times where I can check. Now, if it beeps, because obviously I do a lot of business on my phone, I have to check it. And obviously I'm logged into my Instagram and kind of things like that. But scrolling and mindless scrolling, which we've all become addicted to, and it has become a downtime for us. And it's not the worst in the world if it's controlled. So once I put my daughter to bed, I give myself an hour scrolling. And that's fine. But then I need to put it down and I need to watch something. Because I noticed I wasn't even watching telly. I was just scrolling. And your head becomes a mash of all these different opinions and la 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 la. So I would say to anyone looking for a technological detox, give yourself time. So you can check your emails. You can, check your social media, especially if you work with your social media. But then, and answer calls and stuff. But mindless scrolling, have 2 hours a day that you're allowed to do that, and just leave it there and take your head up and actually just look around you. Like your life is what's going on around you, not what's going on, touch wood and God forgive me, but like in the hospitals, not what's going on in America, not what's going on in government. These are important things to know about, but to become obsessed about. It's not going to change your day and your here and now, so you need to disconnect from it.
Brilliant stuff. And lastly, I'm just gonna because you've touched on a lot of points, look, and I think it's just amazing how from because I had an idea of what you do, but you actually vocalizing and actually breaking into structure of how you do it has been really, really great. And look, I'm really grateful for you coming on. And lastly, though, I'm just gonna give you 2 minutes or so just to tell people how to reach out to you and what your ranges of services are and things like that.
Great, my little plug.
Yeah, little plug, eh?
So my website is habitchange.ie, and as I said, I offer a 90-day one-to-one coaching program, and that can be anywhere from weight loss, energy, mindset shift, and I also offer a 21-day total body reset cleanse, which is a really good way, as I said, to kind of give you a kickstart. 21 days to form a habit. It's more about instilling self-care practices and learning about your unique body type, but it's really hard to get into words what it's about. It's like you eliminate common allergens and toxins, now only for a week. So we do preparation week as week 1, where we get into the mindset, and you have a workbook, and there's group chats and everything, and then week 2 is your elimination, so you eliminate a lot of things, and then week 3 is your reintroduction. But within this 21 days, many people, Ty, have never taken 21 days to focus purely on themselves. So it's a self-care practice, and often people go, wow, I'm really ready for the next one. Obviously you lose weight and you just learn a lot about yourself. You gain energy and you realize what the likes of caffeine, alcohol, sugar kind of things are doing to you. Now, it's not to say that you'll never go back to them. It's just that you'll be aware, oh God, when I have 3 coffees a day, I'm like, so it's all about self-awareness and self-care. So habitchange.ie. My email address is emma@habitchange.ie. My Instagram is habit_change_coaching, and my Facebook is the same. I am starting to cleanse actually on the 18th, so on Monday. Prep week is on Monday, and it's at an offer at the moment for €47. So if anybody wants to get in touch with you, or if you want to do it yourself, Ty,
definitely look into it.
Or anybody, just get in touch, because it's a lot of fun. And look, rather than going through lockdown with another boozy sleeping around, oh my God. Definitely don't be doing that through lockdown.
Definitely not the coronavirus. You get more than that. More than STDs.
No. I meant sleeping in. But to take this lockdown as an opportunity to say, hey, I'm going to emerge better. So yeah, that's me. Thank you so much for having me. I've really enjoyed chatting.
No, absolutely. Look, we probably would do this again as well. But
I'd love to.
I will, I will definitely post this video later on anyway in the long format, and loads of people I definitely will be interested in reaching out to you. But look, thanks a lot, and have a good evening, and we'll chat soon. Appreciate it.
Thanks, you too. So good to chat to you. Okay, talk to you soon, buddy.
Talk to you soon. Bye.
Bye.